We're back with a new edition of Card Show Live, and we want to get right into it because there is no shortage of shows. We've been off for 2 weeks, and we're back this Saturday. So the 21st, Saturday, February 21st, is the Kirtland Show, where everybody knows your name. What a great show that this is. It's been going on nearly 7 years, and it's a nice monthly family-friendly show. 40 tables, sports cards, Pokemon, the Kirtland Senior Center, historic Kirtland, Ohio. So this Saturday, February 21st, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So check us out there. If you're not going to be in Northeast Ohio, you may be in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, and checking out BostonSportsMemorabilia.com show. Bill Bride has been running this show since 2023. Every month, it is the third Thursday of every month, and this is a sports card only show, and that's the way they've been doing it. 25, 30 tables, the Elks Hall. They get a nice group of vendors. They get a great group of dealers, and it's like a little club that has been going on since 2023, and people come from all over there in the New England area. They have vintage, modern, graded. Um, Dealers have built kind of a following for doing this show since 2023. And because of that, most of the dealers, they're repeat dealers and they get a lot of new customers. So it's kind of an interesting show there if you're in the Northeast Ohio or Northeast New England area. BostonSportsMemorabilia.com. Then from there, another West Virginia show. And, we love West Virginia. We've been going there for a year now, but Grand Central Mall is this weekend, and that is run by the Pittsburgh Card Show guys. Bryce and Mark do a great job. They're bringing over 100 tables to Grand Central Mall in Vienna, West Virginia. So you can go to PittsburghCardShow.com. You can check out all their information, see all the different shows that they have. But this weekend, they are in Vienna, West Virginia. And when I say we, I am going to be in Nashville. Adam and Jacob will be in Kirtland, and I will be in Nashville for the National. We'll get into a lot more details later, but it's over 1,200 tables this time. It is at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Jeff Roberts and their crew do a terrific job. Tons of sports. I think they have 200 Pokemon tables. We'll get into more of that shortly with Ricky Line, but the National Show, that will be in Nashville, Tennessee, February 2nd. And if you want to go down to the Castine Center in Louisiana and check out the Louisiana Card Con, 250 tables, NOLA's Best Card Show. I think they have a couple of signers there. I think that was Bobby Hebert. I remember the baseball player. I can't remember offhand, but we're going to talk to Luke here in a second. Warren Norris. I think he was a Pirate, actually. And Bobby Hebert, if you remember football in the 80s, I mean, that guy could sling it down there in New Orleans. But we're going to talk to Luke here in a second. We're going to talk about the Louisiana Card Con, everything that they have going on there. He has a guy, Chuck, that's been running this show. And without further ado, let's bring in Luke. Let's talk about NOLA and what's going on in the card community and everything around down there.
Hey guys, thanks for having us on.
Hey Luke, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, on Fat Tuesday, no less.
Yeah, it's Mardi Gras down here today, so it's kind of crazy, Yeah,
Probably
it's kind of crazy
on our part. But anyway, tell us a little bit about the show, if you have a little history of it, and what people can kind of expect.
So Louisiana Card Con is in Mandeville, Louisiana. It's actually about 45 minutes from New Orleans. Chuck started this show a couple years ago. He started with a one-day show. He took it to a two-day show. It rapidly grew. He's got right at 270 tables now. He's got some attention. PSAs coming in for this one. I don't think they've ever been to Louisiana before. He's also got JSA on site. Doing authentication. And one of Chuck's big things is he wanted to create a long running show and an affordable option. He keeps admission low at $5, but he also has free signers. Like Warren Morris is signing free on Saturday. He's the LSU Tiger grade. He hit the walk-off grand slam against Miami, I think, in 97. And then on Sunday, Bobby Hebert signing free. Saints. He's a legend down here for the Saints, Cajun Cannon, and he's doing a free Pokemon tournament. So he's trying to keep and bring in new kids, keep the hobby going. So he's got a little bit of everything. He's got, he tries to focus on a lot of stuff for the kids as well as all the way up to the higher end dealers as well. So he's been doing a real good job with it so far. The show's busting at the seams already. I think he's at 270 tables for this one.
That's terrific. Now, how long has this been running? And I know you said it was 1 day to 2 day, but do you know when they started?
So he started last year. He did 2, I think, last year, or maybe 1 last year and then 1. It was 2 last year, and then this is going to be the first one for this year. Last year he brought in Coach Ogeron to sign for free, and some other LSU guys, and then he did 1 before that. So I mean, he's off and running now. Louisiana. In my opinion, and I'm biased because I'm here. There's a lot of great shows here in Louisiana. There's the New Orleans card show. There's this one here. There's other shows. There's some big time shops here as well, and it's kind of an underrated market in my opinion. A lot of people sleep on it until some of the national guys come into these shows and they realize what they can pick up down here. There's a lot of ripping going on at these shops.
That's terrific. You said Chuck. So Chuck has a shop as well, right?
Yeah. So Chuck's shop is Chuck's is in Albany, Louisiana. I think he's one of the, if not, I think he is the longest running card shop in Louisiana at this time. And yeah, he's been there for close to 40 years. He's got all the accounts, Tops and all that stuff, and Panini. He's been there for forever. But yeah, he's been right there, right off the interstate, little country town. And he's had shows before, but never to this magnitude. He always wanted to try and step it up. And I think his big deal was just trying to find a venue that would house it and be able to consistently give him dates. And so he went out and secured dates for like the next 3 years to really get this thing going as a regional stop for people.
Luke, you're down there in SEC country, and you've got the Hornets, you've got the Saints, of course. What are people clamoring for at these shows and in the shops?
Right now, Tyler Shough. I mean, they're on him. They are definitely on him down here, and then Fears and Queen from the Pelicans. You're seeing some of that too. But definitely right now, if you had to pick one, they're going after Tyler. The way he finished this past year, he's the hot one.
Yeah, I mean, he was the offensive rookie of the year. And I mean, as a quarterback market goes, I mean, nobody was really hotter than him at the end. You wonder what would have been if he played all year.
Yeah, it's exciting. It definitely gives us Saints fans something to look forward to because it was a rough year for sure.
Well, you don't have to tell us that. We live in Cleveland, Ohio. and that is the thing that we always get. That's the response we always get. But listen, Luke, we appreciate it. We can't thank you enough. We wish this show all the success. We'd love to hear back from you. We'll go over some of the other things that you have going on that we talked about, and the Golden Grading Company that you have. But as far as this show, I mean, we hope that it's a tremendous success. We'd love to hear all about it afterwards.
Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate the time.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Luke.
You have a good one. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Luke. Very cool stuff, Greeny.
Should have asked them what kind of food they have there. Can you imagine the jambalaya that they have?
Oh, at the show themselves? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Some good eating. So, yeah, we'll have Luke back on. We'll check in. Before we segue into the national card show, we do want to mention another huge show coming up. Certainly is the Great Lakes Collectors Convention with the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention. We've announced that it's out there. They're combined into a major show. We highly recommend that you jump on and get your tickets ahead of time. There are big savings, up to 30% if you get them now within the month of February. The prices will continue to rise and all the way up through on site. So grab your tickets now. Get your tables now. Space is filling up really quickly on the vintage side and the modern side in TCG. So if you've got a modern card shop or business or TCG, contact Greeny Sports Cards for your tables at the Great Lakes Collectors Convention Pavilion. If you are a vintage dealer, reach out to Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention. It's going to be a huge event. speaking of huge events, something we aspire that event to be someday, Greeny, is the national, uh, the Nashville Card Show, and great perspective from Ricky Line coming up, who's been involved in that show for a long time and was with us at the first Great Lakes Collectors Convention, which we have now seen essentially double in size. So someday when we grow up, we hope to be as big as the national
in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, yes.
Yeah. All right, let's bring in Ricky. Let's talk a little bit about this show down in Nashville. Hey.
Hey, Steve and Jeremy.
Hey, we can. I know you're at a basketball game, but we got you.
Outside. I'm outside in my car, and I've got a little bit of time. All you need.
we appreciate you giving us a little bit of time. Well, we say me. I'm going to be down there. Jeremy will be in Cleveland, but I come to the show all the time. I love it. I can't get enough of it. So it's growing, huh, Ricky?
It's beyond growing. This is crazy. I started with Jeff 15 years ago with 20 dealers once a month. Then after 5 years, he went to twice a month. And right before COVID, I talked him into doing a big one. I said, Jeff, they're just too much. And he put it together. And the first big one was 360 tables, and then 700 tables, and 850 last October. And this time it's 1222 or 1225. It's a lot.
It is. And speaking of a lot, if anybody's ever been a vendor, or even a customer at the show for that matter, but definitely a vendor, they have gotten a chance to meet you, and I don't know that anybody gets them in and out quicker at a card show than Ricky Line does, and so much that we had you at our first Great Lakes Collectors Convention. But what is it like when everybody shows up at once? And I mean, I watch you. I mean, you got hands flying everywhere. What's the system or method that you have there?
I try to be very fair. I try to keep in mind who is next. I get them as close to where my job also is to know where their tables are, so I can tell them where to park. And that's difficult on the new dealers. So all bets are off if it's your first time there. But most of them, I know where they've been. I know where to pull them up at, where to pull up, how close. My job is to get them in so that they can do their thing, and then get the next people in. It's a challenge. I'm a math major. It's like a game, a struggle. But most people, as long as they know you're trying to get them as close to drop off point as you can, they're going to work with you.
Yeah.
Ricky, one thing we had heard about you in particular before we had a chance to work with you is not just the in and out, but your attention to customer service and commitment to the dealers, and whether that's walking around with change and being available, or providing information. Talk a little bit about that approach and the importance of that, taking care of the vendors within the show itself, because really vendors are the foundation of these events.
The vendors are the foundation, and they've got to make money. And if they don't, I've got to give them every opportunity to make money. I can't sell their product for them. I can't make them bring better product, but I can give them the opportunity. I was a school superintendent, school principal in education 45 years. Managing people is something that I was pretty good at. And I coached basketball 25 years. So been around people. Find out what they need. I've been to card shows where I needed to go to the bathroom so bad and I could not leave my table. My job is, if you're a single guy at a table or a single gal at a table, my job is to see you 3 times a day to see if you need to go to the bathroom. I walk around every other hour with change, 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s. The people can bring the most. They know they've got enough, and then all of a sudden, 5 $100 bill comes. 5 of them come in a row, and they all bought $6 worth of stuff, and you're out of change. That's just added value that doesn't cost anything. But pay attention to details. See who's hurting. See who's not had some customers, and when the first one comes in, just say, hey, how about start on this side over here? Just little things to try and to keep the flow going.
And the flow in Nashville goes all day long, from the opening tip to really the final buzzer. It is a whirlwind of people at that show. And man, What do you look forward to the most when you get prepared? You're ready for this show. What are you looking forward to?
One is to see people I only see 3 times a year. We do this one 3 times a year. I know all of them that do our normal lighthouse show in Nashville twice a month. I know them. I know their wife. I know their kids. These are people I'll see 3 times a year. My job is to I'll wear something Cincinnati Reds all the time. They don't have to
Mhm.
remember my name. They know that I'm wearing Reds. And in Nashville, I'm the only one wearing the Reds, so I'm easy to spot. Just yell at me and say, "Hey, Red Man, I need this," whatever. Uh, I like the camaraderie of seeing people and they'll, say, "Hey, you did a good job last time," or "Boy, can we do this?" Whatever. Second, I like looking at the product. Golly, there's so much to go around. And as I do visit with every dealer, every other hour, I'm eyeing the stuff. Holy cow, there's just so much now. Uh, and it's good. It's good.
It definitely is. It's so funny to say the way you just say it, how it is kind of a community. Like it's a 1,200 table show. There's 400 and some vendors, and there's umpteen thousand people that walk through, but it still feels like a small show, right? A lot of people
And,
know
and,
each
and,
other.
and we want it to be that way. And we are now, Jeff has done a good job of shifting the Pokemon out of their choosing to the second and the third room. And we've had two of our bigger dealers that had Pokemon and sports cards want to go to the third room, which is mostly Pokemon, because that's their value now. And they can always come back to the main room, first room, but they have seen the value of being in the second and third room where Pokemon are stacked. Uh, and that's a good thing. I know very little about Pokemon. I do, I do know that the dealers bring them in little bitty satchels and set up a table, and they go home happy. And I can set up at I can have 4 tables at Jeff's $125 125 table show, and it takes me an hour to set up, an hour to tear down, and I'm happy to be there and make a little bit of money. And these guys, they roll in and roll out, and that's great. I'm glad for them. And a lot of them are there to buy. So if there's something you want to sell, man, bring it. There are people that dealers bring money to buy. They can make money buying.
No,
Ricky, we're well versed and are used to looking at floor plans, and we can look at something like that has over 1,000 tables and get our bearings. There's a lot of people coming to the hobby now and coming to shows for their first times or first couple of times. What advice would you give to people coming to the National that may feel overwhelmed or look at that they don't know one room from the other? What would you recommend somebody for their first visit?
One is wear soft shoes, and that is so important. Two is find out where the bathrooms are as soon as you get in. And that seems funny, but it's not, because you'll be right in the middle of buying something and your little kid has to go. You need to orient yourself as soon as you walk in the room. And then I always like, when I go to a show I've never been to, and I try to go to a show almost every weekend, I always like to start on the right and then go and take a good mental picture of everything and then come back and buy. If something catches my eye that I know won't be there, I better buy it then, because so many times, you see something and say, "Well, I'll come back, or I want to compare prices." No, if it's a fair price, buy it then on site. Uh, but wear good shoes, orient yourself on where things are. And if you're taking kids with you, ours is a pretty safe place. We have a policeman in every room, but still have a point that every hour your 12 and 13-year-old is going to come back to you and check with you, uh, just so that you know, daddies and mamas don't get paranoid. I am on the PA, so if somebody ever does get lost or somebody's looking for somebody, we can locate them pretty quickly. But and then set your limit on what you want to spend, and then spend it. And again, when you see what you want, you may think it's going to be somewhere else at a lower price. It's probably not. The market is pretty well set. I may be a little high on some of my red stuff because I sell in Cincinnati stuff, but on the normal cards, you could comp me or anybody, and we're all pretty close. But if you see it
Mhm.
and you like it, you better get it when you can, because I've seen many a person say, "Well, I'll come back and get that." They come back to a table and it's gone.
Yeah. we were talking earlier with Joe. This Saturday is Top's Hobby Rip Night, and I know
I heard
that
that sounded good. Yeah.
it is, but and I know so we'll be in Nashville for that, and I know that there's a big trade night. I know that we have a lot of local shops there that get involved. You know, Grand Slam will probably be, and
They
Matt
will.
from Underdog.
Underdog, yes.
Yeah, if we heard like there is trade night going on, there we go. Right,
Trade
so
night is Saturday night. We used to have it Friday and Saturday. We have decided, and mainly for our Pokemon people, to stay open Friday night till 8 o'clock.
okay.
We have found out that Friday night closing at 6. A lot of people get off work at 4 and say, "Well, I'm not gonna, it's gonna be 4:30 before I get there. I think I'll pass. Just wait till tomorrow." So we've watched and stole ideas from other people. And Friday night we're gonna stay open till 8. No trade night, and Saturday trade night is from 6 till 10 or whenever it's over. But normally 4 hours is enough.
And people like to know this. I know this. You know this. The amount of security that's around during trade night.
We have no choice. Jeff pays out the wazoo to make sure there are policemen, certified policemen, there in the building and one outside the building just to make sure. We're in a safe neighborhood down there in the fairgrounds, and they've got an event every weekend. But still saying that, we got to be careful. We got to be cautious. We got to know that something could happen, so prepare for it by having a policeman there. I learned in the school business, nothing bad hardly ever happens when you have a teacher in the hallway. If there's not a teacher in the hallway, something stupid's going to happen. But just to see or just to hear that, hey, Mr. So-and-so's right down the hall, we got to be careful. That's enough threat. When nobody's there, a lot of bad things can happen. So yes, security is a vital part.
And there's another thing that I didn't notice. I've known this because I come but people that are coming for the first time, they always say, "Oh, the parking, it's $10 to park." That is the venue. That is not the show that charges that parking. So that is on the fairgrounds. It is $10 to park. I think it's cash only. I saw that, but that is money that goes to the fairgrounds and not to the promoter of the show. So
Fairgrounds gets every bit of it. The fairgrounds gets all of the food. Jeff pays every dealer's $30 vending park. So he gives them a parking pass that Jeff has to pay $30 for every one he hands out, and they count them and they times 30 and tell him. So the dealers do not have to pay. And if you have 4 tables, you get 2 dealer passes, and 6, 3, and so forth. And we have some with 18 tables, and they may not need but 3 vendor passes. Well, that gives us an extra one to give 2 cars from one other person. So we try to spread it out, but the parking is hard. They have upgraded the parking this time. We got our parking scheme last night too, and I was highly impressed that they're giving us the main parking all the way around the building for our customers, which this is the first time they've ever done that. And one of the reasons is Jeff has rented all 3 buildings for all 3 days. So they've opened up the parking, although it doesn't come to him money wise, it can help a lot by people not walking too far.
Ricky, I want to take you back a little bit. You've got the Nashville show this weekend, not to be confused with the National that will take place in Chicago. My first National was in 2000 back in Anaheim. I've been to 16 at last count, been involved in that production. I know you've been there a long time as well. I can't help but think that first show post-COVID was pretty remarkable in Rosemont, and something had changed. The industry had changed. What have you noticed, and how do you feel about the industry these days from where we were 20, 25 years ago to the evolution where we are now?
I'm not saying it because I do this. This truly is a hobby for me. When I set up at the card show, whatever I make, and I'm going to spend it. I'm going to spend it back on cards. It's not, it's no big deal. I'm retired. I can do what I want to do in that sense. But the value of the bigger cards, it is really good. for people to have a player, or in my case, the Reds. I just want Reds. I'll buy something else to flip it. But I want to buy red so I can make sure I have one of everything, and then I'll flip whatever else is left. But I do think COVID changed a lot. People found cards in their basement. They were bored. They went to the barn and found them, or they went to the storage unit and found cards and said, "Hey, let's do this." And I think it made awareness the awareness of there's money in this, and they're sitting on some stuff that, you know, let's make some money out of it. And the good part is, find you a good dealer you can sell to. I would advise anybody. I did a show in Scottsboro, Alabama, and a guy came up with a Mantle rookie tops. And he looked at me and he says, "I heard this card was good." I said, and I was the first table in the building. I said, "Sir, that's a really good card." He said, "What will you give me for it?" I said, "I won't give you anything for it." I said, "Because I would rip you off if I took it." And I'm not saying that because I'm a good guy, but you need to take that to somebody who can get it graded to make sure it's for real, and do it down here in Alabama. So I gave him 5 names of 5 card shops that I had their cards on my table. I said, and just pick one. And if you don't like what they do the first time you deal, go to another one. But find you a local guy you can trust that's going to give you a fair price, give them a market of whatever's above 20%, 30%, whatever they need to make a living also. But there's money in it, and it's also, I like the find. I like when somebody walks in with something that I hadn't seen or something I'm looking for. And I think COVID has made people go out and find stuff, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure. It absolutely has. And that and the advent of all these TV shows and the pickers and the things like that, people are searching, and people are finding the stuff that they had when they were kids and bringing it out. And there's no shortage of really cool, unique items that come out every single day.
One more thing, the kid involvement is not kid involvement anymore. The kid involvement is a serious business. My grandson, we have 4 grandsons, and one of them is 12. He went with me last Saturday for the first time, and I gave him $100, and he went and had a good time, had a ball, all this, but he didn't know what he was doing. He got him Pokemon, he got him basketball, football. He had a ball, but there are people there, the same age kids walk into the show. They know exactly what they've got. They know the last comps. And some of them, when they come to my table, I don't even comp it. I say, "Look, I know who you are. Tell me what it's worth." And they'll say, "Ricky, it's worth, $400. And I said, "Well, I'll give you so-and-so." There's no need, because I know they comped it right. These kids, it's such a learning experience to handle money, to talk to an adult, and to make money and prepare for the future. It's such a learning experience for these kids.
It is. It's no question it is, and we see them at every show. The trade nights, there's a lot of kids that are joining this, which is a great thing.
It
And,
is. It really is.
Yeah, it is, and we look forward to seeing a ton of kids and a ton of adults in Nashville this weekend. And Ricky, we appreciate it.
Thank you. I thank you for letting me be a part of the first one up there. It's just such a long drive. But saying that, if I ever had a weekend, it's a good place to go visit.
Absolutely. You're on our radar every time. You
All right.
always have a spot.
I appreciate it.
I will see you about 2:00 on Thursday.
I'll see you Tuesday afternoon. Hey, help my son get a win tonight. We won 3 in a row. He has struggled all year. He's lost 3 starters to injuries, and he's the high school coach, and he's won 3 in a row, and the tournament is next week. So we're trying to get a senior night win here. So say a little one for him, all right?
You got
guys.
it. Thanks, Ricky.
See you, Jeremy.
Got it. Thanks, Ricky.
Yep.